Hello everyone, thank you so much for tuning in with us today. Today we have a very special guest. He is a leader in the ISKCON movement. His name is Holiness Narasimha Maharaj, and he has been serving for over 20 years in the movement. He's always traveling around the world doing the preaching, and he has gone even to the most interior parts like the Amazon forest. So today we'd like to know more about the movement and what it is they do there. So please give us your full attention. So Maharaj, please could you let us know who you are, and you could tell us something about your dress code, seeing it's a bit different.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. My name is Bhakti Narasimha Swami. Of course, this is not my original name. It's a name that was given to me at the time of ordination. I've been in this movement since 1986. And throughout those years, I've been based in different countries. First, I was in South Africa in the 1980s, and then early in the 90s, I was based in England, Birmingham, and then by mid-90s, I was in South Africa, working with different projects with the government. I was one of the organizers for Nelson Mandela we had a picnic with Mandela with 60,000 students.
Wow.
So I was one of the two people who organized that in conjunction with Mandela's office. And then after that, in 97, I moved out of South Africa. I was in Zimbabwe. By 1998, I came to East Africa. Then I was in East Africa till 2003, and then I went to USA and California to do some services there. And then in 2005, I began the International Society for Krishna Consciousness in Swaziland. I got the society registered, and we still have members there. And then from 2012, I was based in Brazil till 2018. I was in Brazil. There we were doing what we are still doing it, what is called the Amazon Safari. So Amazon Safari is when we go to the deeper jungle, meet the tribes, stay with them, teach them mantra meditation. We teach them also about nature, how important the forest is to all the people in the world, because the Amazon is the source of oxygen for most people. And we try to make them understand that there is a supreme entity who is providing all these big rivers like Amazon and all the forests that they are getting benefits from.
Yeah.
So from that point on, we try to make them see the need to connect holistically with the environment that is sustaining them. Yes.
All right, thank you. Maybe you can tell us about your dressing now.
Yes, this dress is a dress of a monk. When you take ordination, you get this piece and the bottom one. The third one, which is a shirt, is not part of the tradition. It was introduced later because the monks in modern days have to look more neat. but the traditional one is this one and the bottom one. So this cloth, the top one, is supposed to be held like this when you go around begging for alms. You can be given bananas, oranges, rice. So then you go back to your cave. Yes. And then you prepare food like that. And also money. Yes. People can put money here. You hold it like this. Like at the day of my ordination, with this cloth, I collected something like $3,000 US. Wow. People just pouring money like anything. I needed a shopping bag to put the money. It was such a lot of money. Yes, because it was a big thing. I was the first person born in South Africa to take this ordination. Yes. So it was advertised in newspapers. So even the members of parliament, they came to say, who is this guy who's taking such a serious ordination? Yes. And, well, life is about making history. Sometimes we fear stretching because of certain parameters and certain boundaries that we connect ourselves with. Yes. But when you jump over those boundaries, you just realize that out there the space is very vast. Yes. You can explore more and more until you retire from life. Yes. So I'm a person who was born in the old South Africa. I would say South Africa was the last country in Africa to gain independence. So for me, I lived in the old colonial system, say for 35 years. Okay. Yes, because I was born in 1958 and Mandela only became president in 1994, so I was already an adult. Mm-hmm. So during those days, we were kind of like restricted in so many ways. We were restricted in careers that we can pursue, in areas where we should live, and was difficult. Okay. So, but inside, we always thought that if there is a chance for us to do something that is beneficial to the people and beneficial to us, we should jump for it. So the reason why I became a monk, I wanted to study spirituality deeper so that I can help my people in Africa. Because I realized that the conditioning of our people is very deep. It's like we are carrying shells and shells and shells of conditioning. And we are seeing through the windows of conditioning. But actually, once you come out, you realize that the potentiality is very great. Yes. Yes. So, spirituality is very, very important. Just like this morning, I was giving the class about how actually we are conditioned by three what we call laws of nature. We are conditioned by goodness, passion, and ignorance. Mm-hmm. And how these three qualities of nature are working within us, that is not easy for us to understand. But they are working. We just become attracted to certain things, certain ways of living, to certain people, because there is a rapport between us and them. In other words, we share the same quality. The example that is given is that when fire come together with fire, there is no reaction. When water meet water, they match. There is no reaction. But when Water come together with fire, there's reaction.
Yeah.
Because they are not of the same qualities. So in a similar way, there are certain qualities that we imbibe in nature that are active within us and which make us be naturally attracted to certain things, way of living, way of thinking, etc.
Yes, that's true.
So spirituality is supposed to help us to break away from these barriers, break away from our layers and layers of conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when I first started, many people used to tell me, "You will not make it." I'll ask why. Say, "If you're a black person, there's no black person has done this before." I said, "Okay." I told myself, I want to make a history and be the first to do it. And there is no black person from Africa who has crossed the Amazon. I'm the first. Even in Brazil, Brazilian people really told me we are like very daring. Yes. I have traveled from the bottom of Amazon River up to the source. Yes, by boat, I was using helicopters.
Yeah.
We used to hire helicopters also to cross the Amazon forest. I just love
Seeing the nature.
being in touch with nature. So, but that's not the inclination of someone who's born in Africa. You find many Europeans exploring the different situations that are very challenging. So in that way, I always believed that I should try something that seems impossible.
Yes.
And because of that, now I've broken away from my shell.
Yeah.
Yes. So I just feel home in any place, whether I'm in a forest, whether I'm in Nairobi or New York, I feel the same.
You're no longer attached to one.
No, I'm not attached to any setup. I'm just kind of like
free.
Yeah, free from those barriers. Yeah.
Now, this is what you used. You said ordination.
Ordination, yes.
Now, it's not a very common word. Maybe you can explain to the general what ordination means.
Well, ordination is like similar to what we call in Africa initiation or circumcision, when boys get circumcised. And then after they are circumcised, even though they may be young as 14 years old, they become men.
Yeah.
Yes, they become men. They have to change the dresses that they were using as boys and receive dresses of men.
Yeah.
And they will never act like the boys of their age. They will act like men. They will accept responsibility.
Yeah.
So this ordination also is something like that. Once you take this ordination now, you are expected to adopt to a certain behavior, which brings about the sense of responsibility that come with the ordination that you have taken. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I think that's very clear for anyone who is a bit confused with that English. So maybe now you can tell us what is the Hare Krishna movement all about?
Oh, the Hare Krishna movement is it's like it's a movement that is supposed to teach people about the change, or teach people how to change their consciousness. A different consciousness means basically awareness. Like we are aware of our environment, we are aware of what is happening around us. But ultimately, the highest level of awareness is to be aware of God and aware of yourself. On the spiritual platform, we are spirit we are spiritual beings just having some material experience which we call life. The life that we experience with our senses, sense of smell. We like to hear music, we like to dance, maybe we may like to play sports like football, volleyball. These are just experiences that we gain through our senses. Higher than that is the experiences that we gain through our mental powers, like intellectuality. Those who are intellectuals, they can stay for weeks and weeks, diving into books, trying to extract the highest meaning of life.
Yeah.
So they enjoy that. Or writing books, the writers, different people. So, but Krishna consciousness goes higher than the experiences of the body, the senses, and the mind. It deals with the experiences of the soul, embodied in this body. What is the nature of the soul? How can I elevate myself to that nature of the soul? So that's a very, very, very deep subject. So when we come to Krishna consciousness, we come thinking that we are Africans, we are males, we are females,
Yes.
we are black, we are white, we are Kenyans, we are Americans, we are British, we are Chinese or Asians. So these are just designations that come with this body. But actually, the person is neither Chinese, African, American, is spirit. The example that our teacher used to give was that if I ask you, show me your hand, you can say, this is my hand.
Yeah.
Show me your eyes, these are my eyes. Show me your head, you can easily say, this is my head.
Yeah.
And then if I say, show me your chest, you can say, this is my chest. And then show me your legs. I can easily say, these are my legs. So and then, if the person say, show me you yourself, the possessor, the owner of these legs and different parts of it.
Yeah.
It's not easy to answer that question. If you say, this is me, no, you are pointing to your chest. Your chest, you have already said, this is my chest. So that's a proof that we are something else, not this body, which consists of different parts, like the chest, the hands, the eyes, the head. So we are the soul, the life force within this body. For example, when someone dies, we say, oh, he was such a nice guy. Now he's gone. But the body is there in a coffin. We are going to put it 6 feet underground. Who is that person that is gone? That's the difference between matter and spirit. That spirit is that force, life force, which gives life to the body, which makes body move, walk, jump, and do everything that we are fond of. So when that spirit, that life force, leaves the body, it's like turning off electricity while the TV is playing. Everything just goes off. So then you turn on electricity, and then again the TV begin to show some pictures.
Yeah.
So this body is like a screen. our intelligence, everything that we have is just a reflection from that life force, the spirit soul.
Yes.
Yes. So that's a very, very deep subject. That's what this movement is about, is how to revive that spirit, or how to be aware of ourselves as spirit and be aware of the Supreme Spirit, what we call God, yes, in different names, different languages.
Yeah.
So now this knowledge helps us to overcome the problems that come with our designations. I'm black, I'm white, I'm Russian, I'm Ukraine, I'm American, I'm Canadian. That's why we are fighting. We are fighting because of designations.
Yeah.
Yes. Just like the example, how these identities make us fight. Long ago in history, there was a country called Lydia, was next to what is called today Assyria. In olden days was called Syria. There was another country there called Lydia. It was a small country, just like Kenya and Uganda. That country was small, just like the size of Uganda.
Yeah.
So in that country, there was a king called Croesus. Croesus, he was very successful. He conquered many neighboring countries, accumulated a lot of wealth. His treasure house was full of the things that he looted in these countries. And he became very, very proud and very much assured of himself. He thought that he had become like an immortal because there was no one to conquer him. So during that time, there was a temple in Delphi in Greece. It was called the Temple of Oracles. This temple was run by the ladies. All the priestesses were the ladies. So these ladies had the ability to tell how a person will fare in the future. They were able to, just by looking at you, they could tell you how your future will be. So this King Croesus, he sent his secretary to find out how he will succeed or not succeed in attacking Persia. So then the message came back that on his venture into Persia, upon crossing the river into Persia, the Persian soldiers will destroy his army, but he will come out alive. So he mistook that to mean that he will come out victorious. So he said, okay, I will be victorious. And then he organized his army and began his journey to Persia to conquer Persia. But when he was crossing the river, the Persians knew that he was coming. They ambushed his whole army. They caught him alive. They took him to their king. So the king of Persia when he caught him, when his people presented Croesus to him, he told them to build fire. He wanted him to be burned alive. Yes. So and then the fire was built around him. They tied his body on wood, firewood, up to here. So they began burning the fire from his feet. So when he was feeling the fire, he realized, I was so proud of my success. and I did not listen to wise men. There was a wise man from Greece called Solon. Solon was a philosopher, but he was living like a sage. He lived in the forest, not in the city. So many kings used to visit him, and ask for advice. So these Croatians, he invited Solon to his kingdom, but instead of learning from him, he wanted to show off to him how successful he was. He took him to the treasure room to show him the things that he had looted from other countries. So Solon didn't say anything. So this king got annoyed. He said, "Why are you so quiet? Why are you not saying anything? I've showed you wonderful things." Solon said, I consider someone successful and happy if he dies happy and successful. For you are still alive. Life is like a marathon, like athletes run in a marathon. So he said life for someone who's alive is like a marathon. You cannot congratulate an athlete who's still running on the road. Only when he reaches the end and you can say, he is successful. He has finished the marathon. He said, this life is like a marathon. You are still alive. So therefore, I don't consider you successful. Why? Because your fortunes can change at any given moment. So when he was caught and getting burnt alive, he thought, yes, Solon was right. And he called out very loudly, "Oh, Solon, you were right." So this other king sitting there, he wanted to know, who is this person this king was calling at his moment of death? He told his soldiers, "Put off the fire. I want to hear what this man was trying to communicate." So he explained that I was so proud of my success. I met one wise man. Instead of learning from him, I was just showing him how successful I was. He told me life is like a marathon. We are all running on this road of life. But things can change while we are running. See, the person who's successful is someone who died with his success intact. While he's still alive, you cannot say this person is successful. Because he's alive, things can change. Yeah. Yes. So this other king, on hearing this wisdom, he said, "Okay, I was also punishing you thinking that you are my enemy. Actually, we are not enemies. We are still on the same marathon. So let's forgive each other and go to Solon and learn more about this wisdom." So that is Krishna consciousness. We are teaching that knowledge. Yeah. That life is just a marathon.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a very deep lesson.
Yes.
So now, okay, I can see that you have a mark on your forehead. So generally when people see that, they assume it's an Indian person.
An Indian person.
Yeah, a lot of people would want to know, do you worship a Hindu god?
That's a good question. Actually, yesterday I posted cows from the farm in Tika on my Facebook. So one African American, or a black person in America of African origin, whose ancestor came from Africa, he commented that actually what I'm following now is the original knowledge of Africa. In bygone ages, Africa had this knowledge that I'm following, and then the Africans, according to him, they are the ones that distributed this knowledge to people in different parts of the globe, including India. So what I'm following, he said, is just your original knowledge of Africa. It's quite interesting. How true that is, I don't know. Anyway, the point is that this knowledge does not actually originate in India, but it's a knowledge that originates from higher planets. It's like knowledge that is given with the creation. Just like when you buy a TV or any machine, there will be a book that gives you guidelines in regarding how to operate your machine beneficially. So this universe also is a big machine. It was created by the supreme entity, who people call God. And then he gave a manual book, or you could say manuals, because the Bible also is a manual book, the Quran is a manual, the Torah, and so many other books. We have the Bhagavad Gita, which is also like a manual book. So now, when you look when you approach spirituality or spiritual culture from that point of view, say the Torah, normally we think that it's a book of the Jews, because the Jewish people, maybe they are the people that protected that knowledge and taught it to others. But it's not knowledge of the Jews. They were just a tribe that happened, or their forefathers happened to receive this knowledge. The knowledge is for all people. See? There is nowhere in the Torah where it says, okay, it was just for the Jews. But actually it was a knowledge that was given to the people as a guiding post for our existence here. Whether it be the Bible, be the Quran, it's just a knowledge that was given to the people, not to a particular nation or tribe. But some people in particular locations, they held to this knowledge faithfully, and then in turn, they are the ones that ended up teaching it to others. So in a similar way, yes, this is, you could say, is traditionally, you could say, is an Indian tradition. It's a religion of India, Indians, especially if you are in countries like Kenya and some other countries in Africa. It appears to be like that. But any tradition, whether it be Islam, Judaism, or Christianity, has nothing to do with certain tribe or race or people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is the Hare Krishna movement open for everyone and anyone?
Yes, Hare Krishna movement is just like Christianity. You find Hare Krishnas in Germany. There are thousands and thousands of Hare Krishnas in Russia. Thousands of Hare Krishnas in China. There are thousands of them coming from Australia, New Zealand, USA, UK. In almost all the countries in the globe. In Africa, we have Hare Krishnas. In Ghana, in Togo, Benin. We have Hare Krishnas in Ivory Coast. We have Hare Krishnas in Kenya, Congo, Uganda, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, South Africa, Swaziland. Yes, a few in Mozambique. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so what is the main benefit, or what is the benefit of joining the movement?
Yes, that's a good question. Benefit. Traditionally, there are 4 reasons why people join the movements, or you could say religion. One is that people are aspiring for material prosperity. Number two reason is that people come because they have experienced material distresses, like in a situation where there is violence, war. People tend to seek out God or a higher power, and so many other calamities. And then the third reason why people join religions or accept religion is called the sense of duty. Our fathers, sometimes we are born in families where both parents are Christians, or they are Muslims or Hare Krishnas. We just become Muslims, Hare Krishnas, etc. That is what is called sense of duty to the parents. And then the fourth way of becoming a member of any denomination or movement is a sense of duty. It's called genuine attraction. What they call in Christianity the calling. Yes. You feel drawn towards that religion because God is calling you into that religion.
Yes.
Yes. You just get visions. You get dreams sometimes. Mm-hmm. Yes, that lead you to becoming a Christian or a Muslim or Hare Krishna or Hindu or Buddhism. You feel there is a calling, something calls you. So when you come to that religion, there is just a natural connection. You feel connected. It's just like a screw. You can try to fit it into so many sockets. Some will be smaller, some will be too big. But when it comes to the right socket, it just fits in. Yes. So in a similar way, we all have our own, calling. Mm-hmm. We all have our destinies. Yeah, everything that is happening in our life was destined by God to happen. Mm-hmm. Nothing is happening by chance. Mm-hmm. Yes. Some people are just destined to be what they are. Some people are destined to be doctors. Some people may study in university for many years and not make it because they are not destined to be doctors. Yes. And they may end up becoming something else. Yeah. Yes. So in that way, everything that we become attracted to, it has a reason. Yeah. Yeah. So I would say, but from outside, it looks like, okay, this person is an African, he should be here. That person is a Chinese, he should follow. He should be practicing Kung Fu. Or Tai Chi. Because we are used to Chinese teaching Tai Chi. Yeah. But actually, a black man becomes a master in Tai Chi. A black man also become a master in Kung Fu. In karate, like myself, I was in karate. I was the first then black belt in karate. Mm-hmm. Yes, but I'm not a Japanese. I was just attracted to it. Yes. So that proves that something can come from Japan, can come from China, but it doesn't mean that it's Chinese. It will be attractive to all people. Yes. It depends what type of people. Mm-hmm. Those people who have inclination towards that. They may be black people, white people. Like in Brazil, we have 3 religions: Candomblé, Umbanda, and Quimbanda. 3 religions originating from West Africa. All the prayers, the songs and prayers are in Yoruba. But in Brazil, it's so big that it's just as big as the Roman Catholic Church. They have temples in every city. Yeah, and millions of people follow these African religions. Yes. But they are white people, majority people who go to those religions. So, but these people, it is said that in Brazil there were about 4 million slaves from Africa.
Yes.
And they came with their culture. Like drumming. Brazil can drum even more than Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah, the samba, capoeira, these are African kind of type dances in music and everything. Yeah, their music is similar to Africa. Even in playing football, they dance with football. That's part, it's African way of celebration. Yeah, in Africa, we celebrate through song and dance. Yeah. So you see how Brazilians play soccer, they are dancing. Yeah, they're just, they look like magicians. So that comes from Africa. But these people are not black.
Yeah.
But they have the connection, the cultural connection with Africa.
Yeah.
So it's a proof that you don't have to be black to be connected with the African culture or African, energy. Some people may be born into a white family somewhere in America. You will be attracted to Africanism, African culture, African medicine, and everything African. I've seen many people like that, even in England, in USA. They are not born in Africa, but they're so attracted.
Yes.
They make dreadlocks. They're just attracted to African way of looking, music. Yes. So that's another proof that we are not limited by our bodies, but we are spirit. Yes. I may be born into an African family, but my spirit, my soul may not be, may be inclined towards, other cultures. Yes. Because I was there maybe in my past. Yes. It's like there are people, even in South Africa, we have these people called Sangoma, which means Sangoma is like a traditional healer. There are so many white people in this kind of profession now. They will heal you, they will say whatever's happening in your life, just like a black person would do. So I was asking one person who knows better, how possible that a white person can have an ancestor who is empowering him or her to become an African traditional healer, because these things, they are passed down, by one member in the family who was a doctor to a child. You can't just get it, from any school. It comes from the family lineage. He told me the same thing, that some white people, their ancestors were here in Africa long ago, and then somehow or other they sort of like got introduced to the tradition. They accepted, in other words, they accepted the tradition. And then now those ancestors, they are giving the same tradition to their children. Yes. For example, there was an South African singer, Jonathan Clark is white, was born in England, but somehow or other he was attracted to Africa. He came to Africa as a child, 4 or 5 years. Yes. And then he learned to speak fluent Zulu language, play the guitar, Zulu guitar, sing Zulu music. So when he died, he was taken to an African village and presented to the ancestors, because he believed that he was not a white man, he was a black man throughout his life. And then his children accepted that our father-in-law is white, but he's an African. So the way he was buried, he wanted to be buried like an African. Yes. Yeah, they took him to the village, they did rituals there. So that's a proof that we are not limited to this body, or we are not this body. Some people, they are black, but inside they are not black. Yeah. Someone may be white, but inside he may be an African more than us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So those things, now, when you study, you meet people, you realize that certain people may not be born to a particular tradition, but they may just be attracted to it naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for emphasizing on that and making it clearer. So a question that came to mind while you were speaking is, we call it the Hare Krishna movement. Generally when we speak of spiritual institutions, we don't hear such a word. We are used to like a group or a church. So why is it called a movement?
A movement, yes, that's a good question. And when we talk about the movement, we are talking about a kind of like an organization that is supposed to cause or make spiritual revolution in society. That's why it's called the movement. It's supposed to cause spiritual revolution. It's something that is dynamic, not static. It's something that causes change.
Shake up the place.
Yes.
Yes, all right.
So our movement is supposed to cause revolution in the consciousness of humankind. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. I believe with that we have come to the end of the interview. Thank you so much for sticking with us throughout the whole of this, and as you have heard very nicely that this movement is not limited to creed, caste or race. So please feel free to come and visit our temple, Hare Krishna Temple. It is located in West Ngara Road opposite TRB Towers, and feel free, you can come by anytime and you will find someone who will answer all of your questions very nicely. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna